So there we are, team. Hope you enjoyed.
A while back, while shooting a module for one of our online courses, we did what we always do and started shooting the breeze.
That's right, wasn't it?
Yeah, nice. Sorted.
Like, what if we made something for people who don't understand design? Do you know what I mean? Like, everything that we've ever done has always been for designers. You know, we know so many people are designing stuff by themselves. We know the access to design stuff has never been like more available, like with all the AI that's coming out and all these other great tools out there. Like, I mean, like, there's so many people designing for themselves now, but they don't really have the access.
But they come to you though, don't they? So, because
yeah, but they come to me, but they can't afford me. And I think that's the problem. And
this got me thinking. As we were talking, I made a mental note to go back to James and see if we could expand on this idea he had. It seemed pretty pivotal, and I wanted to shoot more behind the scenes shizzle, so I put it to him I'd follow him around for a few months to see where it might take us. Naturally, he told me to fuck off. Then he actually seemed to like the idea. So here we are. The whatever this is thing.
And I think that's the problem. And I don't mean that in a shit way. I mean that there's so many people who don't have access to designers because they can't afford it.
yeah, man.
Because at the end of the day,
There's more of them. There's probably more of them than there are people with budgets.
There's way more of them. But like design, especially with social media, it's become so. I don't like to use the word snobby all the time, but like there's even designers who don't understand design anymore because it's just been made so complicated. It's such a performance. We're all trying to make it. But it feels so sad that there's so many good ideas that aren't being brought out to the world because people can't afford to make them. So what's happening is people are making them, but they're not doing it very well, and then all that happens is they get slammed because it's not designed well. But the problem is a lot of the designers can't work with them. So there's this whole fucking process. I can stand up, not can I?
In order for us to cement this nugget of wisdom into a more solid vision, I asked James to elaborate briefly in the spa area of his office.
This is such a shithole in here. we need to turn this into a podcast room or something.
I like that guy on the floor. He loves it.
So let's put designer over here. And then client over here. But this could be like founder or anybody who's a non-designer, I suppose. Yeah. This isn't for like any particular designer-client relationship. This is for basically a client that doesn't have the budget, say. So this client will go to this designer and say, hey, I'd love to work with you. I want a logo, I want my brand built, my visual identity built. He'll go and contact this guy here. Client comes to designer. Designer tells this client that it costs 5k, 10k, 15k, 20k to build their brand identity. The client then goes, I can't afford that, I don't have that budget. Then the designer goes, okay, no worries, it's not a problem, but I can't work for $1,000 or $500 or whatever it is. So then this client is left with not knowing what to do, essentially. They're like, okay, well I can't afford a designer, so what am I going to do now? So what happens is this client then has to kind of go through the process, I'd imagine, of like going online, you know, looking through fucking TikTok or Insta-Twat, do you know what I mean? And like seeing what they should do and like what advice is out there and fucking all that shit. And they end up doing it themselves. Yeah. Because that's probably their only option because they haven't got the money. And then what happens is this designer sees this client's work and slams it. And says, oh my God, like there's so many clients out there putting so much shit work, they need to hire a designer. But the thing is, this client tried to hire a designer. Yeah. They just couldn't afford it. And I think this is a bit of a challenge, I'm thinking, because like nobody's helping these people with like no dollars. Yes, there is like That's a 0, by the way.
Yeah.
$0. Nobody's helping these people.
So there it is. I think that's the crux of it. Episode 1 of the whatever this is thing.